Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Mayor Jerry Cook. Today we're talking about both the October 5th and our October 19th City Council meeting. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's officially fall now. A little cooler out there. We were lucky and got some warm weather, and now it's certainly starting to feel like fall.
Isn't that funny how it goes from 70 degrees on Monday to all of a sudden, wow, this is fall.
Yeah. I mean, but we can't complain because last year we had no fall. It was like, I think they said this day or yesterday, a year ago, we had like 7 inches of snow. So
Yeah. That was the day last year that we were pulling my dock.
Yeah.
And I remember it was cold and snowing and it was miserable.
Yeah.
And this year it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, we've had some nice weather for some events. We had the Fire Open House. The annual Fire Open House takes place as a culmination to Fire Prevention Week. And we did things a little different this year.
Yeah, so the schools didn't have the firefighters in.
Yeah.
They usually go in and do the dance and do the promotion and do some training and safety tips. And then when they do that, they also promote all of their open houses. Mm-hmm. And this year the schools didn't have them in, so they weren't sure if they were going to do open houses. Well, they knew they weren't going to do open houses, but then they...
At the station.
Right. So there was kind of a regroup, and they brought all of the resources together to Sand Creek Park, and the weather was perfect, and it was just a beautiful day. And the Lifelink helicopter was there, all the equipment was there, all the demonstrations, the snack bar was there with the hot chocolate cookies, all the regular stuff, and it was all in one spot.
Yeah.
And it was all well attended.
Yeah, there was quite a few people there, and like you said, the nice part was about usually there's like a demonstration at each of the station, and it's so short, like 10 to noon, you can't get to all of them if you want. But this time, everything was in one spot, so you could see all the demonstrations.
That was really a nice feature because I always make a point of going to all 3 stations, but I don't know that that's reasonable to expect other people to do that.
Right.
So that was nice to have everything in one spot, and like the fire chief said, it's pretty weather dependent.
Yeah.
But as I think back on all the years, I really can only remember being rained out once, where they had to move the demonstrations into the garages.
Right.
And people are going to dress for crisp if it's cold, just as long as it's not raining.
Yeah. So we'll see if they want to do it this way this next year or if they go back to normal. Yeah. The only thing about your method, I'm wondering, can you get 3 cookies when it's in the same location?
I'm not going to talk about that.
All right. Well,
but here's what I will tell you. If you're an oatmeal raisin guy, then you always have cookies.
You're fine, yeah.
You're fine.
Those are the last ones left.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's jump into some council business now. We'll first start talking about our October 19th meeting. Easy for me to say. Speaking of the fire beat, we had a swearing in of 2 new career firefighters.
We did. Both of them have some real connections to Coon Rapids. Eric Johnson is, I don't know if you call him a legacy, but his father, Tom Johnson, was a
battalion chief.
Battalion chief, thank you, with Coon Rapids Fire. And the chief was talking about, I believe, his grandfather and his uncle were also firefighters. Yeah. So that was cool. He had his fiance pin his badge on him. And then the other one was Ryan McAlpine, who's lived in Coon Rapids for, I think, 17 years. And both of these firefighters come in through our paid on call. Yeah. And Ryan owns a landscape business in town. Yep. Actually, I see Ryan at church all the time. He's one of the ushers. Yeah. So it's nice to see that community involvement. Yeah. And Ryan's wife pinned his badge on him. Okay. So that was it was very nice.
Yeah. We don't have quite as many firefighters as we do because we have paid on call as police officers, so we don't see the pinnings of the firefighters all the time, but nice to see that. And like you said, they're brought up through the paid on call fire program, so that's how they get started eventually if they want to become a career firefighter here.
Right. By the time that firefighter reaches the point of being sworn in, he's been through every aspect of training, every aspect of what they do for a job, and has been thoroughly vetted.
Yeah.
So we ended up with just an awesome fire department.
Yeah, and they both had about 5 or 6 years of paid on-call experience. So welcome aboard to them.
Absolutely.
We also had a proclamation of appreciation. This is for the Coon Rapids North Star Lions Club. while we were talking about Sand Creek Park, where the fire open house is held, that is sort of their concession stand that they run things out of and put a lot of volunteer time into that and many other things in the community.
Right. And so, and normally if you go to a city council meeting, anytime you swear in police officers or firefighters, the room is full. Yeah. And then as soon as that's done, the room is empty. Yeah. They all leave. Yeah. And it was really nice. They all stayed for for us to acknowledge the North Star Lions.
I know. I was like, sorry, I just had an itch.
I was getting self-conscious over here.
No, it's all good.
But the North Star Lions are so involved. I mean, Coon Rapids is so fortunate to have so many great organizations. We have another North Star. I'm sorry. We have another Lions Club in town that's very involved, does all kinds of things, volunteers at the schools, raises lots of money for glasses, all these kinds of things. All these other organizations. But we just wanted to call out the North Star Lions and give them a little extra recognition because of all of the hours they put in for the 4th of July celebration, for the Snowflake Days, they're out at the concerts in the park every Thursday night making food. Every big tournament, like you mentioned, they're the ones that operate out of that concession stand at St. Creek Park. Yep. And when there's a tournament there, they're there from the early in the morning until late at night, and culminating in the Veterans Memorial Softball Tournament in the second weekend of September, where there's 108 teams, and they are busy all weekend. Yeah. So the last thing they did was as soon as the fire department said, hey, we're going to be at Sand Creek, do you mind if we use and they said, hey, we're going to be there. We're going to supply the coffee, the cookies, the hot chocolate. Yep. Maybe not the cookies, but they took care of everything, served everything out of the concession stand, really helped make it an even better event. And then they're going to be there this weekend when Community Strength is doing the Rocky's Pumpkin Patch on Saturday, and they're going to again man the concession stand through that. Okay. So, we just really appreciate them.
Yeah, and that's Saturday, October 23rd. If anybody's watching and catches this in the first 2 days for Rocky's Pumpkin Patch, it's from 10 to 1. They're giving out 2,000 pumpkins to kids.
2,000 pumpkins.
Plus, there's lots of other inflatables and all sorts of fun stuff for the kids to do.
Yeah, it looks like it should be a great day.
Yeah, well, congratulations to them. Like you said, they do a lot of work. I mean, we're talking thousands of hours when I know Diane Busta talks about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I was trying to, and then John Leggett mentioned a little recruiting, hey, we could always use some help. Yeah. And I was like, I think I probably scared people off with all the work you guys do. And John goes, I'm 80 years old. They can keep up. So
still going strong, which is great.
So it was really nice. And then everybody there acknowledged them. And like I say, it was so nice to have all the firefighters there recognize their work too. So
yeah, it's great. All right, moving forward on our consent agenda, Council approved a Class A off-sale liquor license. This is for Total Wine and More. This is going in up at Riverdale.
This is Total Wine has been trying to come to Coon Rapids for at least 6 years that I'm aware of, probably more. Okay. And Coon Rapids has only a certain number of A licenses, and a 1 mile radius around each. And Riverdale, we've got 2 million square feet of retail shopping space. It's a very intense regional shopping experience. People come in from all over the place to shop there. And it made sense to me, and that probably, I guess you would say the council too, but it made sense that when you've got people in Elk River deciding whether they're going to go to Maple Grove or to Coon Rapids, you want them to choose Coon Rapids. And one of the things that's going to draw them in is a regional draw like a Total Wine. So Total Wine bought out Star Liquor, which is on Northdale there, bought them out so that they could get their liquor license. And then we tweaked the A license a little bit at a previous meeting to a half-mile radius instead of a mile radius, which allows them to then go into the old Office Max space. Okay. So they'll fill a large retail box over there that's been empty. And so at this last meeting, we approved their liquor license. And so as soon as they get finished building out and they have their certificate of occupancy, they'll be ready to go into business.
All right. So is there another Class A? It says Costco have a Class A? Or who's the half mile?
A half mile away is formerly it was RC Liquors, and now it's Cub Liquors.
Okay.
And that's between Cub and Walmart up there.
Okay.
So it's just less than a mile.
Yeah.
So it just took a little tweaking to get another liquor license, another A license within Riverdale. Okay. And Costco actually operates on a B license, which allows them to have the full complement of alcohol, but you can only have a B license if it's in addition to 25,000 square feet of grocery store.
Okay.
And in fact, Target is actually, that's part of their remodeling, is they'll be adding a B license there as well.
Okay. So you want so many, there's so many of these, you want competition, but yet they're not going to come in if there's too much competition either, correct?
Right. And the reason we adjusted actually created a B license the way we did earlier is Coon Rapids residents are always asking for more grocery store options. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to get in, if you're going to be open for a Trader Joe's or a Hy-Vee's or any of those types, they want to bring in their own liquor store with them. So that's why we've made the B license attainable. But this was only the A license. Total Wine is only a liquor store. They don't have any grocery aspect.
All right.
I feel like I don't know if I closed the loop there or made it more confusing.
There will be a lot of people that are into wine very happy that Total Wine and more is coming to Coon Rapids.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of choices.
All right. That's all we had to talk about from our October 19th meeting. It was a fairly short agenda. Moving back to October 5th now, we're going to stay on the topic of liquor. Council approved a 3.2% malt liquor, wine, and strong beer on sale and Sunday liquor license. This is for the Famous Dave's Quick Queue. We tore down Famous Dave's, and now Famous Dave's is coming back to the same spot.
Isn't that something? A fairly new building, and then you just tear it down, and you start over again.
But it's a new concept.
But it's
first in Minnesota.
Yep, first in Minnesota. It's a new concept. It's more of a quick serve, and they're doing their soft open Saturday. Employee families and things like that, just to kind of get their legs under them. Yep. And then I think they open Monday the 25th. Yep. The ribbon cutting is Monday morning the 25th. Yeah. So it'll be. We're very excited for them to be back in town again, and hope that they do really well there.
Yeah, and they're part of this new sort of multi-tenant building and bank, kind of at the corner of Northdale and Main.
Yep. So there's a new bank there in a separate building, and then they're going to share a building with.
There's a pet thing right
there.
Pet
hospital. With a pet hospital. Yeah, it's right in the corner there by Menards.
Okay. Yeah. And many Famous Dave's folks happy that they're back in town. I know that.
Yeah.
All right. Council adopted a resolution accepting grant funds from the state and approving a Minnesota Natural Resources Shade Tree Program agreement. This helps us sort of combat that emerald ash borer, correct?
EAB, yes.
For short.
Emerald ash borer. So Coon Rapids has, like 6,500 boulevard ash trees. When that was our inventory of them. We've removed a lot of them. We're treating about 1,000 of them. We still have 4,000 some trees to deal with. And we got this $100,000 grant, and that will, along with $14,000 from us, will allow them to remove and replace about 125 ash trees. And so our forester is out, figuring out which ones would be the most, make the most sense to replace. But this provides the funding to remove the tree, to grind the stump, and to replace it. So.
All right, and this is going to be a continual fight because this is 125 trees. Like I said, we got 6,000, and that's just ones that are on the boulevard. That does not count what are on people's private property, correct? Right,
yeah. So we've dealt with almost a couple thousand of the trees through treatments and removal and replacement. And this allows us to kind of do one more chunk, 125 of them. And so we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, just keep going.
Yep. And if you get a really cold winter, like we had that one cold winter where it got down to like 25 below, that froze a lot of them out. It slowed the process down, or their progress down. So we bought us a little more time.
Okay.
So
are you suggesting we want more 25 below winter days?
I am not suggesting that. I'm just saying there is an upside to it.
I guess that's probably the only one. All right. Moving forward, council held a public hearing regarding the police body-worn camera policy.
Yeah, so this has been in the works for quite a while. A lot of the departments have adopted the body cameras, and Coon Rapids, we weren't going to be that bleeding edge of technology, but we knew that at some point we were going to have to adopt it, or we should adopt it. And so, but anytime you do that, it opens up this process where everybody can make comments. We've been encouraging them for quite a while through the website, email, phone calls, whatever. If you've got any comments or concerns, make sure you get them in.
Yep.
And then this night it culminated with a public hearing this evening. Yep. Nobody addressed council, but they had plenty of time to make other comments.
Yep.
So now we'll finalize the procedure, yep. And then we'll get the body cameras should be in use by the end of the year, thereabouts. There was a little. There wasn't a definite date on starting,
but it sounds like end of the year, and it is quite a process because you have to keep track of this data, do that. They're actually hiring someone to do this, so it's not like you just start this program tomorrow.
Well, right, because it's all public information, and people have a right to say, "Hey, I need this piece of tape from this time to this time." Well, you have to have somebody go through and blur out anybody's face that has nothing to do with the situation, because you can't allow that out. Yep. So it's very personnel intensive, yep. And we had to hire somebody to be that person.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus we have to store all the data.
Have a little remodeled office space. So like you said, that's moving forward. It sounds like later this year is when it will be put into action.
Right, and it's the same company as we use for our dash cams. Yeah. So it's not a big learning curve. Yeah. We already have all the technology for that and dealing with the tape edits on that. So
so it kind of ties into the whole system that's already in place.
Yep.
All right, council affirmed a water emergency, but now that has expired, correct?
This was our last meeting. Every meeting we had to reaffirm that water emergency, and that was the no watering between 10 and 6.
Yes.
And then because our every other day expired in August, that we combined those together. At any rate, it was affirmed at this meeting. However, at our last meeting, it was allowed to expire, so we no longer have.
So as of this week, or as of Tuesday this week, the 19th, it's no longer.
No water restrictions now that most of the people have their sprinkler systems blown out. And
now that it's 50 degrees for a high, but you can water whenever you want, day and night. Every day. And that's just for this season. Again, then the normal odd even band will start again next June, I believe.
Yep, the odd even will kick in again for next summer automatically. That's just part of our ordinance. And if we need to do something else, this was really driven by the DNR. So with drought conditions, we're expecting all of you municipalities to do something to protect the water. So that was where we came up with the 10 to 6. Plus we had other things going on this year.
We had the East Water Treatment Reservoir Rehab where they drained that whole thing, right? And
I think 5 million gallons or something. So we had a lot of other things going on in town to preserve our water system, to keep it going for the foreseeable future, and this helped.
All right, but again, water whenever you want. For now. I gotta say that because it's like, I don't want to, not next year, whatever. It's just for the rest of this year. All right, council approved a development agreement for Summer Chase 5th edition. This is a cul-de-sac development right on Eagle Street.
This is Eagle Street, probably built out 25 years ago or more, and there was a street that if you have a street near you, by the way, that just ends, that there isn't a cul-de-sac on, eventually you might get neighbors back there because that was never designed to just end there. And in this street just ends, and now there's a developer that's coming in that's going to put a cul-de-sac in, sewer and water, and they're adding, I think, 3 homes there. I think it was 3 homes. And then the other side of the cul-de-sac is owned by the city of Coon Rapids, and eventually we're going to try and figure out a way to get maybe one more house there, but we can't do anything yet because of how we acquired the land. But the 3 that we approved is going to be about 3/4 or 2/3 of that cul-de-sac. And really that's what you want. You want orderly development. You want a finished neighborhood.
Yeah.
Anytime you've got a street that just ends like that, you end up with junk, you end up with people dumping their compost, whatever. So this will be really nice to have those new homes there. And if we can eventually get a fourth over there on the city property, that'd be great, but that wasn't part of this process.
All right. Council approved an agreement. This is an installation services agreement with Ferguson Enterprises LLC. This is updating the water meters, our favorite topic today. We're talking about water again.
Water.
But some of those meters are needing to be replaced again, right?
Yeah, so we have 15,000 water meters, I think it is, in the city, and we're coming to the end of the warranty on them, and that's going to cycle out over the next 4 years. And if we can replace them before the warranty ends, we recognize a big cost savings. And it's technology that's outdated, and they're going to be a problem, so it's the right thing to do. So we just, this contract was for Ferguson to replace 2,700 meters before the end of this year yet. And I've kind of read some of the things on social media. It's where you keep your finger on the pulse of things.
You learn a lot of interesting stuff there. Yes.
Yep. And people said it's been very painless process. People are in and out in about 10 minutes, and they change the meter out and they go. And so that's what we just approved anyway.
All right, but you will be getting official notice from the city when it's your turn to have it replaced out, so you should get information. Don't just let anybody in your house, obviously.
Don't just let anybody in, and there is no charge to you, the homeowner.
Right.
So, there's so many people, there's so many entities out there trying to extract your money.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Just got to try to be smart about it. But again, you will be notified by the city when it's your turn. This is like a 4-year process, so they're just getting started now, and this will go on for a couple more years.
Right. Yeah. And we're rolling the waves as the warranties expire, so that we'll have them replaced before the warranties expire, because that's how we'll recognize the cost savings.
Okay, and that's how we did it when the installation happened, right? It took a couple years
apparently
to install, I think. I feel like we just did that, but it's been a number of years.
It was before my time, so I think we did some warranty work on these at some point while I've been on the council, but
I mean, you remember obviously the old card where you had to go down to your meter and write down your number.
Yes, I do.
So how times have changed. All right, council adopted a resolution declaring a city council vacancy in Ward 3.
Yeah.
Wade Demmer's gone. We miss him already.
Yeah, Wade. Well, he's not gone. Thankfully he moved. He stayed within Coon Rapids, but Wade moved out of the ward that he's representing, that he was elected to serve, Ward 3, and he moved into a different ward. And the way our ordinances read, you're done as soon as you don't live in that ward anymore. You're just automatically off. So council declared a vacancy, and we opened up a process, and we received applications through close of business Monday the 18th, I think it was. And we have 8 applicants that we've culled through, and we're going to interview several of them next Tuesday night at a workshop. And then we'll make an appointment. The plan is to make an appointment at that first council meeting in November, which will be a Wednesday, because of the election on Tuesday the 2nd, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So our next council meeting will be Wednesday, November 3rd, and we should be appointing Wade's replacement that evening.
All right, and then that person would be subsequently sworn in that evening.
Correct. I don't know
if all goes according to plan.
If all goes according to plan, and hopefully they recognize that they're going to have some big shoes to fill, because Wade played an important role on the council. He was always the guy that asked the questions, and then explained a lot of the details. So it was we liked having Wade on the council. He was a great council member, and he's definitely missed.
Yeah,
so.
And he had just a little over a year left on his term, so this person will fill the remainder of his term. So this seat will be on the ballot next fall.
So whoever gets appointed to serve out, they're serving out Wade's term through the end of 2022, and they'll be on the ballot. That ward seat will be on the ballot in about
a year. So about a 14-month appointment is what it works out to be.
May is when you sign up to run for council, if you're going to run for that vacant seat, or that seat, I should say.
All right, well, it'll be interesting to see how the interviews go and who winds up representing Ward 3 coming up here.
Yeah. I said, "Will."
All right, that's all we had from both of our council meetings in October. Before we go, we can maybe mention that the annual Super Senior Club, their bazaar and flea market is coming up on Thursday, October 28th.
Thursday, October 28th. That should be a nice event over right in the Civic Center.
Yep.
Do they serve food?
They have refreshments, and they have a bake sale.
Oh.
So
Just wondering if I should count on that for lunch, or I should probably make other plans for
you
lunch.
can just
then.
have the bake sale. The bake sale will tide you over. But they have crafts, refreshments, raffles, bake sale, a flea market, a Christmas urn, and more. And then all the money raised goes to charities that the Super Senior Club supports.
Yeah, and I've seen the Super Seniors at various events like the Youth First fundraiser. Yeah, so they do some great things.
Yeah, and they always have a lot of stuff. So get there bright and early. It starts at 9 a.m. and runs till 3 a.m. on Thursday, October 28th in the Civic Center.
I'll bet it runs till 3 p.m.
What did I say? 3 a.m.?
9 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah,
that'll be a
9
little
a.m.
late.
Yeah, it's not a, what is that, an 18-hour event? I think they will probably be out of stuff by 3 o'clock. All right, well, that's all I have, unless there's anything else you want to add.
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Yeah, and you mentioned our next meeting is actually a day late due to election. It's school district elections, so get out there and vote. If you aren't signed up, sign up. And there's 3 levy questions on the ballot, along with Coon Rapids has 2 school board seats.
Yeah, so that November 2nd election for the school district, for the school board seats, I really encourage people to get out and do their research because these are some important levy questions on there. And several of, I think, 2 of the seats are represented in Coon Rapids.
There's 3 seats total up.
Yeah, and so it's a very important election. So
yeah, and that's the thing. It's not a main
research.
It's not a main election where we're voting for governor or one of the others. So there's a lot less people that do come out and vote. So makes it even more important to get out there and speak your mind.
Yep, very good.
All right, thanks Jerry for being here today. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you after our 2 meetings in November.